Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting.
Hey there.
We're jumping right into what's buzzing on X today. It's all about those trending topics, the stuff everyone's reacting to, like, right now.
Exactly. Can be fast takes straight from the feed. Let's dive in.
Okay, first one up is at Elon Musk. Always ambitious. He posts, just the passing grade needed to colonize Mars with a link.
Wow. Passing grade. That's really framing it, isn't it? The scale is just huge.
Totally. And you got to remember, like, the context here is Starship 3, right? That thing has a 200-ton payload.
Yeah, compared to Falcon 1, which was what, half a ton? That's a 400x increase. It's insane.
Makes sense why he said Mars colonization used to seem almost unthinkable. This kind of tech really changes the game.
Absolutely. That reusability, the refueling in orbit, that's key.
Okay, next tweet. At JD Vance shared something pretty unexpected.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. The UN-mediated ceasefire between India and Pakistan, effective today, May 10th.
Right. Came out of nowhere, especially with tensions being so high since that Kashmir attack back in April.
Yeah. Given the history there, I mean, decades of conflict over Kashmir, any ceasefire is big news. Lots of UN attempts before.
Definitely highlights how quickly things can shift in geopolitics, you know.
For sure. And kind of ironic, given some of Vance's earlier takes about it being none of our business.
Okay.
Shows how things evolve.
Okay, shifting gears. At Yassine MTB posted, the reason America is the richest country on the planet is because Americans work ridiculously hard. Got a link too.
Ah, that old chestnut. It's a common idea for sure. But is it just hard work?
Well, yeah, I mean, people do work hard, but doesn't tell the whole story, does it?
Not really. If you look at, like, productivity per hour, the U.S. isn't actually top. Countries like Germany, they often work fewer hours but produce more per hour.
Good point. And then there's all the historical stuff, right? Like the post-World War II boom, the dollar being the reserve currency.
Exactly. Huge advantages. Plus, you can't ignore the massive contribution of immigrants to the U.S. GDP over the years. It's way more complex than just hours clocked.
Okay, next up, AI and learning. At Mollick shared results from a meta-analysis. Quote, confirm the positive impacts of ChatGPT on learning performance, learning perception, and higher-order thinking. Sounds pretty positive.
Yeah, that's interesting. This wasn't just one study. It looked at 51 different experiments.
51? Wow.
Yeah. And they consistently found boosts not just in how much people learned, but also how they felt about learning, and crucially, critical thinking skills too.
And it seems the effect was even stronger in universities, right? And when it was used actively, not just passively.
Which makes sense. But, you know, the usual caveat applies.
Yeah.
It's about how you use it. Relying on it too much without thinking, that's still a risk.
For sure. Okay, Everyday Tech Problems Corner. At Chamath tweeted about having 5 ramp cards in his Apple Wallet.
Oh, I saw this one. He said it's impossible to differentiate them.
Yeah, totally relatable if you use digital wallets a lot. Which is kind of funny. Wasn't he big on blockchain replacing all this?
Huh? Yeah. A bit ironic. Shows even cutting-edge tech thinkers get snagged by basic usability stuff. Like, just let me label my cards properly.
Right. Seems like a simple fix. Apple Wallet's limitations, I guess. And for Ramp, you know, the corporate card company, you'd think clear card ID would be important.
You would think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk coding. At Austen had an idea.
Yeah, suggesting an AI agent or maybe a cursor plugin to catch 99% of obvious security gaps.
Which feels really relevant with this whole vibe coding trend.
Explain vibe coding real quick.
It's basically, you know, people who aren't expert coders using AI tools like ChatGPT to build apps. They get the vibe of what they want. The AI generates code.
Gotcha. But the risk is security holes, right? Like leaving API keys exposed or something.
Exactly. Stuff an experienced developer might spot, but a non-expert just trying to make it work might miss. So an AI spot checker makes sense.
Yeah, like those tools, Almanacs, they already use AI for finding vulnerabilities, right? So this fits.
Definitely a growing need. Okay, speaking of coding tools, at Ryo Lu announced a new Cursor AI update, version 0.50.
Ooh, okay. What's new?
Big stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
Max mode for all models sounds like more power. Agents in the cloud, bulk context tools.
Agents in the cloud, like for team coding, and bulk context maybe handling bigger code bases better.
Sounds like it. Faster editing on large files, too, which is always nice. But interestingly, the replies also mentioned student account bans. So some bumps in the road, too, maybe.
Yeah, managing access is always tricky with powerful tools. Okay, back to the big players. At Iterin Electus posted, this is crazy. How did Google get so much better? With a link.
Huh. That's quite the question. Is Google having a moment?
Seems like it, or at least the perception is shifting. He linked to a Polymarket chart showing Google right up there as a top AI model contender.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe things like Gemini 2.5 Pro and the new AI stuff in Google Search are actually landing, making a difference.
Yeah, maybe cutting through the noise. And it's notable because, like, Anthropic wasn't right at the top of that specific chart, despite their strong models.
Shows how fast things are moving. It's anyone's game, really.
All right, but let's bring it back down to earth a bit. A counterpoint on vibe coding from @Tom Dörr.
Right. He explained why it kind of falls apart on bigger projects.
Yeah.
His point was that LLMs, the AI models, make incorrect assumptions every few steps.
And those little errors add up, right?
Exactly. They compound. So on a small script, maybe it's fine. But build a complex app, and those compounded assumptions can lead to massive, hard-to-fix problems down the line.
So the dream of just talking to your computer in English to code perfectly, still a ways off for complex stuff.
Pretty much. The reply suggested, breaking big projects into tiny pieces for the AI. Makes sense as a workaround.
Okay, switching to design. @Yamsahaks Aziz announced a new @shadcn theme drop. It's called Notebook.
Ah, shadcn. Super popular component library for web devs. Saves a ton of time.
So what's this Notebook theme like?
Described as clean, kind of retro, like an old email app. Comes with dark mode, too. A bit different from their usual minimalist style.
Okay. How's it being received?
Sounds like mixed feedback, which, is pretty normal for UI changes. Some love it, some maybe not so much. Design is subjective.
True. Okay, brace yourself for this next one. @Turner Novak tweeted simply, "We have never been so back."
Uh-oh. What's the context? That phrase usually means something specific.
Get this. It's reportedly about Elizabeth Holmes. Yes, that Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos and her partner starting a new blood testing company.
Wait, seriously? After the Theranos fraud conviction and everything? Wow.
I know, never been so back is just dripping with irony here. Theranos, revolutionary tech, that wasn't. Huge collapse.
Yeah, I remember. So starting again in the same field, that's bold is one word for it.
Bold, yeah. Generated a lot of buzz, as you can imagine.
I bet. Okay, shifting again. Dedication Corner at Theo posted late Friday night.
Yeah. I promised I'd ship the database overhaul by Friday. It is 11:39 p.m. we just shipped. Link included.
Wow, talk about down to the wire. Shipping a database overhaul at nearly midnight on a Friday.
I know, right? Apparently it was for T3.gg issue #392.
Yeah.
Had stuff like attachment syncing, thread exports. Pretty major.
That takes guts. Most companies actively avoid Friday deployments, especially late Friday, because if something breaks, weekend nightmare.
Totally. Okay, creator economy talk. @CBDoge was asking people to share their payout screenshots from X's monetization program.
Ah, yeah. People always want to know what the actual earnings look like on these platforms, right? Yeah. Trying to figure out if it's worth it.
Exactly. Though, it's worth noting, that specific account at CBDoge has gotten some flack in the past, right?
Yeah, there's been some controversy there, so, consider the source. But the request itself reflects real creator curiosity.
And the replies were apparently all over the place, some showing decent payouts, others saying it's unreliable.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Seems like the experience with X's program is pretty inconsistent for creators so far.
Okay, this next one is unexpected. @Jiankui, remember him?
The gene-edited baby scientist. What did he post?
Just learning CCP history with a photo. Looks like it's from the Museum of the Communist Party of China.
Whoa. Okay, that's certainly a post from him after the prison sentence and everything.
Yeah, quite the contrast, isn't it? From world-shaking bioethics controversy to, well, a museum visit.
Definitely shows, it shows people move on in surprising ways, I guess.
Yeah.
And the internet captures it all.
Right. Okay, lighter topic, campus aesthetics. @Pedezi made a list of universities that look like resorts. Stanford was on it.
Ah. I can see that. Some campuses are gorgeous.
And then @PeggyManget replied, adding UC Santa Barbara with this amazing photo of the campus right on the coast.
Oh, yeah. UCSB is stunning. Definitely has that resort vibe with the beach right there.
Makes you think, does a beautiful campus actually, help students learn better or feel better?
There's probably something to that.
Yeah.
Nice environments generally reduce stress, right? So maybe it does help create a better atmosphere for study.
Makes sense. Okay, prepare for a potentially spicy take here. @Vigilant Fox posted an argument.
Uh-oh, what's the argument?
That vaccines didn't end, infectious disease engineers did, crediting sanitation, clean water, plumbing, etc. Linked post.
Ooh, okay. That's a big claim. It definitely highlights the massive importance of public health infrastructure, which is undeniable. clean water and sanitation were revolutionary.
Yeah, the argument is that those things brought down mortality rates hugely before many vaccines were even widespread. They mentioned polio diagnostics changing, the Leicester smallpox situation.
Right. It's a perspective that questions the standard narrative. But, I mean, you have to be careful. While sanitation was crucial, the scientific consensus and overwhelming evidence still show vaccines have been incredibly effective at controlling or even eradicating diseases like smallpox and polio. It's usually both, not either.
Good point. It's complex. Okay, final one. Circling back with some dark humor. At Sonafali tweeted about the new Elizabeth Holmes adjacent venture.
Yeah, what did they say?
They said, hope he calls it the Thera, yes.
Oof. Okay, that's pretty pointed, playing on Theranos, obviously.
Totally. It captures that deep public skepticism, right? Like, are we really doing this again? The replies were apparently full of similar jokes.
I'm not surprised. That Theranos shadow was long.
Man, what a whirlwind. That's just a taste of the expos today. Mars colonization, AI learning, surprise ceasefires, coding debates, and, yes, jokes.
Never a dull moment on the platform. It really is a snapshot of everything happening, good, bad, and weird.
Absolutely. So, thinking about all that, what was the most surprising thing you heard buzzing around today? Or, maybe looking ahead, which of these little trending seeds might grow into something much bigger?
Good questions. Lots to chew on there.